Welcome to yet another live stream, and wow, game week 11. Game week 11. I'm gonna do a live Q&A as I always do, pretty much, and yeah, I'm gonna be trying to answer every single one of your questions, just like in UCL Fantasy and in FPL. Let's see how it goes, but so much has happened since the last video, and where do we even start with the Newcastle game being postponed? And I made a video very early on, but yeah, I mean, what can you do? Yes, these things are literally beyond our control, and that's why I always recommended to keep a wild card. But yeah, I mean, I wish I still had mine. Let's just be real. So I'm going to try to go through every single question, including from the start before I even started going live. And yeah, we'll just go from there. Yeah, on time. Yeah, I remember the the UCL Fantasy one, the first one. Oh my god. Yeah, so many problems with OBS, and in the end, got that sorted. Not gonna happen again, I think. I hope so, anyway. Do you think Cancelo will start? If I'm being honest, I don't think so. And I really wanted Cancelo, and I prefer him over Diaz, who I think is a bit more of a safer pick. But with Cancelo, I don't know, he's a more exciting one. It reminds me of the comparison between Cody and Saiss. Like, Cody's more secure, and he's probably the better option, but Saiss, before he got dropped, he was the highest scoring FPL defender. And it's similar with Cancelo and Diaz, and unfortunately, I don't think Cancelo's going to start. And you look at the Champions League, he's playing every single minute there. And in the Premier League, Mendy plays, he scores. And Walker is pretty much their best fullback, so I don't see that happening. And yeah, like Atul says, he doesn't think so as well. Welcome, Nalayonga. Welcome, our edit. Yeah, I remember you from the UCL Fantasy stream. Eli Aslan, welcome. What is your plan for Wilson? That is a very key question. Look, if I'm being serious, like, there's 3 players now that I pretty much don't have playing, and as you can see, they're all on the bench, and it's very unfortunate, but it is how it is. And been a bit unlucky with Wilson, because when I brought him in, he got the injury on a -4 as well, but then he delivered after being patient with him, and now he could be out. And some people think that he could also be out for the West Brom game, and if I'm being honest, that's not ideal at all, because I think he could do really well in that game. I highlighted it a few weeks ago. I think I can see why some people will be getting rid of him, but I don't want to, personally. Same with Grealish. The only player that I'm thinking of getting rid of is Martínez. And if you ever want to change your goalkeeper, this is probably the time to do it. But yeah, Callum Wilson, with the fixtures coming up, same with Grealish as well, and their form, there's not many better options at their price brackets. So I think I'm going to keep him. But I know a lot of people are going to be shipping out Wilson, Grealish. It's just that I would want them back very, very soon. I know Bamford's a very good alternative to Wilson, and I'll be discussing potential replacements, because some of you won't share my mindset. Some of you will want to get rid of them, of course, but it is how it is. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep him, but I am open-minded. It's not like I'm definitely keeping him, especially, you know, for 6-7 game weeks. He's going to have some tough fixtures to come. Welcome, Ninad. Welcome, Nabua. On time, yeah. How many points did you get in UCL this week? I haven't even checked, if I'm being honest. I last went on the app on Tuesday, and I'll be going on it in the next few days, and I'll be, you know, just going through what a disaster week it was. But it was definitely my worst ever week, with Haaland as well being injured towards the end. It was literally the nail in the coffin. So yeah. Do you think Abraham is better than Watkins or Bamford? If I'm being honest, I don't think so, because the likes of Bamford and Watkins, they are guaranteed starters. And then with Chelsea, to be honest, they should start Giroud more often, as you saw during the midweek. And also Werner can play up front. And when Pulisic is fully fit and he's gonna play consistently, I think Pulisic could be on the left, Ziyech on the right, and Werner up front. So I'm not sure about Abraham. I know he's a good differential, but overall, yeah, I think Bamford's the best by far. With Watkins, I've never really... I mean, I understand the appeal of him. I mean, you look at his performances against Arsenal and Liverpool, absolutely sensational, but I'm just not too sure about him. And I think Grealish is more than enough cover for Aston Villa. So yeah, I wouldn't go with Watkins. I think Bamford's the best out of those. Chances of Giroud starting, if I'm being honest at all, very, very slim. I know he scored 4, but Lampard just loves Abraham, and he also, you know, he's got Werner as well, and then Pulisic can play on the left, and sometimes Werner will play up front. So yeah, I'm not sure about Giroud starting, but yeah, I mean, on his day he's world class, and then on another day he's completely wasteful. That's how I see it. Worth taking a hit for a defender if you only have 9 play as well. I always say this, in UCL Fantasy I would say yeah, but in FPL I would suggest not taking hits. However, if you're taking a hit on a defender and it allows you to get a certain Bruno Fernandes or Salah or someone like that, then I would then, suggest it. And I've taken a hit recently for Kufau and Fernandes, and overall it worked because Bruno got me 10 points overall. But yeah, ideally I would say no. And either way, some of these players that aren't playing for you, they're going to have a double game week soon. And think about Aston Villa. They also didn't play against Man City, and I know it's not an ideal fixture playing against Man City, but they've got 2 double game weeks to come. I don't know when. I'm pretty sure it's going to be game week 19 onwards, unless they find a slot for next week. But I don't know. I doubt it at the moment. But yeah, I mean, 2 double game weeks could be very, very big points for some players like Grealish, who gets points anyway. So yeah, that's how I see it. Walker can push onto centre-back and Walker on the right. To be honest, when Walker plays centre-back, it's mainly when they have a back 3. I'm not too sure about him playing as a centre-back in a back 4. So yeah, and they've also got Laporte, who hasn't even been featuring recently. And Laporte and Diaz, you would think, would be the 2 main centre-backs. And then after that, John Stones was pretty decent in recent games. So yeah, Eric Garcia as well, sometimes gone to. So yeah, I don't see that happening, if I'm being honest. Given that it's a tough call to fit in all of the big hitters, how would you rate shifting Salah and KDB for the few weeks for the captaincy? Well, I've seen a lot of people doing this kind of strategy with Fulham, targeting them. But as you saw with Vardy, Fulham have been decent recently, and they've posted better defensive stats over the last 4 game weeks than the likes of West Ham, who we all are raving about. So I understand the kind of method, and that could work well for you. But I don't know, I think having Salah is probably a better option than just shifting between him and KDB. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could own KDB as well, but it's just impossible to have everyone. And if it's KDB or Salah, I'm always going Salah, especially this season. Last season, I maybe would have shifted to KDB, but yeah, for me, I'm not going to be doing anything like that. And I'm very happy with the likes of Salah and Fernandes. Of course, I would love to have KDB, but that would probably mean moving on Grealish or Son, because Salah and Fernandes are kind of stuck in my team. But you know what? That could work for you. It's just I wouldn't go for it personally. Why not Grealish in terms instead of sub, and use auto sub just in case there is a match? Oh, well, the thing is, I mean, to be fair, I will probably do that in the end if, they suddenly, reveal that there is a game week 11 fixture, but it's very unlikely that the Aston Villa Newcastle game will be slotted in for game week 11. But of course, I understand your point, because if that happens and they're just on my bench, then, I've just effed it up. But yeah, that's a fair point. It's just the chances of that happening are very, very slim, especially if you look at all these, people who always do these spreadsheets. I don't think they're too confident about the game happening next week, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, you know what? That is a fair point, and I don't even like seeing the likes of Basuma on my starting 11 anyway, so I'll probably do this and just make these changes. But yeah, obviously it isn't ideal. And either way, Forster's not going to play in my case, so I don't think that makes a difference. But the other 2, I think you have a point. So let's just do that live, and then save your team, and then obviously I'll probably switch him around. And I know a lot of people will be having Kilman. I don't even know if he's going to start. If Wolves have a back 3, then he could, but Roman Saiss is back, and he is so reliable for Wolves. I'm a bit surprised that he got benched all of a sudden, but yeah, I don't really expect Wolves to do that well against Liverpool. You never know, though. But yeah, let's go through this. So captain Mane or De Bruyne? De Bruyne for me. Mane hasn't really shown enough this season. If it was Salah or De Bruyne, that would be a bit tougher. But yeah, I think De Bruyne for this week. But you know what? Don't just disregard Mane. He is a quality player. I just think that De Bruyne this season, especially recently, has just been better than Mane, and also Man City's fixtures are phenomenal. So yeah, but Fulham, they're not a pushover. They're not a pushover at all. I used the free hit this week, but I also want to use super sub and triple captain all at the same time. But it's not allowing me to after I activate the free hit. As you know, I started late. Yeah, you started late and you're already using hits, or should I say hits? You're already using the chips. To be honest, I would recommend kind of just waiting until maybe game week 30 onwards. It doesn't have to necessarily be then, but I don't know. You don't have to use all your chips now. It's not like UCL Fantasy where the fixtures are condensed. You have only 13 fixtures as opposed to 38, and you want to use your chips, as soon as possible when the worst teams are still in the competition. In FPL, it's different. So to be honest, yeah, I would kind of just wait. I know you've already used the free hit this week, so good luck with that. But yeah, as for the others, like bench boost and triple captain, There's no need to use it now. And a lot of people always get in a rush to use triple captain. They see Vardy against Fulham, for example. In the end, it only gets you 5 points, 15 in total. So yeah, that's how I see it. You can only use one chip at a time, exactly. And obviously that's a good thing. And same with UCL Fantasy. I mean, think about it. You can't use the Limitless and the Wildcard at the same time. And yeah, that would be really OP if you could use all three at once. But yeah, probably not advisable. It's best to do it separately anyways, to be honest. Aranya says, recall talking to me in the comments of a video of yours only a few hours ago. Yeah, I remember. Some good discussions. Yeah, I remember that. Welcome to the live stream. I seriously can't decide whether to captain Jamie Vardy or KDB. The armband is currently on De Bruyne, but I have a gut feeling that I should captain Vardy. What would be your move if you had the two? Well, you have a gut feeling about Vardy. In that case, I'd probably go with him. But you can't really go wrong either way. Even if you don't get like the highest scoring one as your captain, they're both good captaincy options, and sometimes a bit of luck comes into it. KDB, he only got, well, I say only got 10 points. He could have been way more last week. And with Vardy, he was very lucky to get 5 points against Fulham. So it really depends. But to be fair, I think they're both great. I wish I had both of them in my team this week. If I were on a free hit, I would probably have both of them definitely in the starting lineup. My bench players, Wilson, Grealish. Now I have 11 playing players, and they are Pickford, Creswell, James, Marcel, Pereira, Rodriguez, KDB, Zaha, Vardy, and Werner. I use my free transfer. Should I hit? It depends who you take out and who you bring in, but yeah, I mean, having 11 players in a week like this where so many people have triple Villa, or in my case 2 Villa and 1 Newcastle, it's ideal. So to be fair, you're in a good position, in my opinion. And you don't necessarily have to take a hit, but I'd like to see, the players you're thinking of bringing out and the players you're thinking of bringing in. McCarthy, Casper, Martinez replacements. So McCarthy, Casper, Martinez replacements. Oh, okay, yeah. To be fair, McCarthy is probably the standout in my case, and I can't afford the likes of Mendy, who would obviously be ideal, and Fabianski. And they're much more expensive anyway. And I always kind of say 4.5 million keepers are the best, in my opinion. You don't want to spend too much on a keeper. And I've already got double Chelsea defence, so that already eliminates Mendy anyway. And the fact I can't afford him, I don't want to take hits for a keeper, even with a week like this. And then you look at Fabianski. I've already got Kufau anyway. So McCarthy, even though I've got Walker-Peters, he's probably the ideal replacement. I don't know about Schmeichel, though. I don't trust Leicester enough. And as you see, they're very, very iffy and very inconsistent. But you know what? You could be onto something there. I just think McCarthy is the standout replacement and someone that I probably shouldn't have got rid of in a wildcard. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a bit too late now, but was Jorginho for Jota and DCL for Che Adams worth it? Jota and Adams coming in. Well, to be fair, I think they're good replacements. The only thing I'll say about Che Adams is that with Danny Ings coming back, he's not going to be the talisman anymore. And Danny Ings is probably going to get the brunt of the points. But Che Adams, for his price, you can't get much better. I mean, the only ones I could say are possibly better are, Callum Wilson, who doesn't have a fixture this week. And then you have Bamford. But Che Adams, I think, is good. And Jota for Jorginho is a big upgrade. I definitely like that transfer. The problem is I have KDB and Bruno that play each other Game Week 12. I will move to Salah before Game Week 12, definitely from KDB. But Game Week 13, Liverpool have Tottenham and City have West Brom at home. That's true, but then again, it's not all about the fixtures because, I mean, look at Son against City, for example. A lot of people got him out and he got double-digit returns. Same with Man United away, especially when he was an injury concern. Fixtures aren't everything, and players, especially these top-quality players, can do well against anyone. So I get your logic, and to be honest, it makes sense. But don't just think about the fixture. There's also form to take into account, and the Premier League is so unpredictable, and that's why FPL is so unpredictable and difficult at times. Yeah, Vardy could get a hat-trick, as could Werner. I was considering one of the two, but KDB just as likely to match or outdo the other two players. Yeah, the only thing with KDB is that sometimes he can have a fantastic game. I mean, I think he had a good game against Tottenham, for example, but no points to show for it. I think Vardy could do really well. I'm not sure about Werner. I know he's getting a lot of chances, and he is a quality striker, but he does miss a lot. And with Vardy, if he gets a chance, he's clinical, he's going to take them. So I think there is a difference between the two. And yeah, I think Vardy or KDB, you can't go wrong with either. The only thing I will say is that after this Game Week 11 fixture, I'm not really feeling Vardy or any Leicester player. KDB, however, is a different story. But I want to see how KDB does, not only now against Fulham, but also against Man United next week. That'll be really interesting. Do you see Madrid playing in Europa? I mean, I could, to be honest, especially with the Aubameyang-Toni Kroos beef that's going on. I could already imagine it now. Obviously, they've never really been in it. And they're the type of club to just go in it once and win it and never be in it again. But that's how it is. This season and this year is just completely mad. I'm just enjoying after all my rank will be less only. This FPL, I'm going to do all mad things. I have nothing to lose. Fair enough. And to be honest, this is a great time for you to just learn. It's a bit like when you're an interim manager, like, I don't know, I'm just thinking of random players, like maybe Benitez when he's an interim manager at Chelsea, or even, when Oli was the interim manager at United. There's not really that much pressure. You might as well learn from that. And either way, rank isn't that important. At the end of the day, we play for fun. But yeah, maybe next year you could have a very good rank after all the stuff that you learn from now. Yeah, Size to Reece James or Barkley to Mahrez. Both involve me getting Bruno in a couple of weeks. Unsure which to pull the trigger at first. To be fair, Sice is back, so he could play. And I do like Chelsea defenders. I'm assuming you probably have a Chelsea defender already. Obviously, having one is definitely ideal. I have both, or two, should I say, and I'm really happy with that. However, Barkley's injured, and I know he's back, I think, either this week or next week, according to Dean Smith. So maybe that transfer is better now. Long term, though, I think Size to Reece James is a great move. If not, go to Zuma. But yeah, definitely have a Chelsea defender if you don't already. What's your final take on Villa versus Newcastle? I'm seeing managers keep Villa players in their starting 11 and keep their subs according to their priorities. I don't understand why they're doing it, though. Well, I'm one of those people at the moment. There are different options, and I could end up changing my mind, but at the moment, I'm leaning towards keeping the Aston Villa assets and Wilson, although I'm not really too sure about Martínez, like I said. Grealish, Jota is possibly a better asset, but I already got Salah anyway, and Grealish is just a talisman, and I don't want to lose him. However, Martínez, he's someone that could go, and Wilson has great fixtures, and he is the best player at Newcastle. So the way I'm seeing it, you could just keep them and just enjoy the double game weeks to come. Remember, Aston Villa are going to have 2 double game weeks because they didn't play in game week 1 against Manchester City, and I know that's not a great fixture, but you never know. Aston Villa have been very good in the big games this season, and then obviously they're going to face Newcastle in another double game week. So yeah, I'd want to keep them if I'm being honest, but I may change my mind. Ricardo Pereira, good option? In my opinion, no, because Leicester haven't shown enough for me to spend, I don't know how much Pereira is now, but at least 5.5 million or more. I think he started at 6 million this season. He's a quality player in real life, by the way. And even if he is fit, I mean, I think there have been some problems. He did struggle. Brendan Rodgers did confirm he was struggling the other day in Europa League, and he's still trying to get the fitness back up. So I wouldn't be too keen on him. If Justin maintains his spot, he'd be a good choice to have in your defence. Apart from that, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't go with Pereira right now anyway. -4 for Mendy. Suggestion. I'm guessing you're talking about the goalkeeper, but some people have been talking to me about the left-back, obviously, the Manchester City Benjamin Mendy. To be fair, I don't like taking hits for keepers, but yeah, if you need that Chelsea defensive cover, you could do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. I never like taking hits, especially for keepers. Would you prefer Mikel Antonio ahead of the likes of Bamford, Watkins, Adams, etc., now that he has returned from injury? If not, who do you think is the best forward option at that price range? In my opinion, the best options are Bamford and Wilson. And I went with Wilson because I just have a bit more faith in him than Bamford. Bamford is very frustrating to own. He misses so many chances. The only good thing about that, though, is that Leeds create so many anyway. So Bamford is the type to maybe get you the points in games you don't expect. Maybe in the games that, you expect him to do something, he gets 2 points. So, I think Bamford is probably, the most reliable in terms of how many chances he's going to get, and also Leeds are a good team. And Wilson, he plays in a bad team, but I mean, this guy is just so consistent and so clinical. His conversion rate this season is 70%. Some people will say that's unsustainable, but I think, if you're a good finisher, you're a good finisher. The only problem, as I've already addressed with this guy, is his fixtures from game week 15 onwards. And, the others you mentioned, like Watkins, and Adams, they're good. But if you have Grealish already, that's enough. And ideally, you'd want to have Ings ahead of Adams. But Adams has been very good in recent weeks. He's only blanked once. But yeah, I think Bamford or Wilson, and it's up to you who you think. Mikel Antonio, I wouldn't rule him out. He's still got like 12 goals in his last 14 Premier League games, but he's another one who's very wasteful, and he didn't even play 60 minutes in the last game. So I'll wait and see with Mikel Antonio before going in for him. I just prefer the West Ham defenders over anything. Thoughts on playing Cresswell, Marcel, Pereira and Rodriguez? I mean, for this week, I think that looks pretty fine. I don't really like James Rodriguez anymore. He had a very good spell between like game weeks 2 to 5, 6, but yeah, just too many passes before the assist and stuff like that, and he's not getting the points. And as for Marcel, I think he's going to play. It's just he's playing Liverpool, so wouldn't expect too much from him. And for Pereira, I'm guessing you're talking about the West Brom one, but if not, it's the Leicester one. And if it is the Leicester one, he could get some points if he starts. Whether he starts, I couldn't tell you. As for Cresswell, Man United is a tough fixture, but you know what? It's not too bad, I guess. It's not too bad. And remember, I think it was last season, West Ham did beat United 2-0. Although I don't see that happening this year. You never know. What does RCM mean in your channel name? It's just my initials, and yeah, it's just something I've gone with, to be honest. Cancelo out for Walker. Already have Walker. Diaz. Oh yeah. To be fair, I think Diaz is enough cover for Man City. If you don't have a Chelsea defender, definitely get someone from there. And if you already have Chilwell, you could still go with Chilwell and Reece James, or Chilwell and Zuma. So to be honest, you know what, I wouldn't go with double City defense, especially Walker. I think that's too much money for what you're going to get. If you're going to go for like 6 million, you might as well go with Chilwell if you don't have him already. Scared for the North London derby on Sunday? I'm not scared, to be honest, because like any derby, form goes out of the window. When Arsenal are winning leagues consistently, sometimes Spurs will come up and get a draw or a win. So it's not really that simple. And Spurs are definitely the much better team at the moment, but you never know. I think Arsenal could do something, and I'm not expecting it, but something could happen. But yeah, I'm not going to be delusional and think they were definitely winning. Yeah, I have Chilwell and KDB already. Let me see. So what was your options before? So you've got Chilwell already. That's fair enough. And to be honest, I think Chilwell-Reece James combination is excellent. And Reece James is a bonus points magnet when he plays. I actually got rid of him around game week 6 when I did a wild card, and straight after that he started playing every single game. But I mean, he's such a great player to own when he actually starts, but so frustrating when he's on the bench and then comes on for like 5 minutes or something. And that's when I decided to pull the trigger on him. But yeah, he's a great player, and he's going to keep getting the points. But KDB and Chilwell, you already have them. That's really good. I think Chilwell could be a season keeper, depending on how Chelsea do and if he remains fit. And as for KDB, I think up until game week 22, he should be producing the goods quite consistently. I took Son out for KDB and Zaha out to bring in Ward-Prowse, as I wanted to keep Grealish in the squad. Can I ask what you think about those decisions? I mean, they're logical decisions. I don't know when you got in Ward-Prowse. I'm guessing you got him in after the Man United game. But if you had him for that, then yeah, you struck gold there, to be fair. The only thing is that Zaha, I think he plays West Brom this week, away from home, but still. And he is back from COVID, and I think he could do really well there. And he's a quality player. I mean, I always say this, around 7 million, and I'll keep demonstrating this, I think that the best options are Zaha, Grealish, and Jota, definitely. And yeah, I understand why you got Ward-Prowse, and he is cheaper. But to be fair, I think there are good moves. Son out, it could bite you. Hopefully you already have Kane still, because I think getting rid of both Spurs attackers is not ideal. Definitely not. But I mean, I always say it, like, those 3 £7 million midfielders are just gold. And the likes of James Rodriguez, forget about him now. And he's already like, what, nearly 8 million anyway. Okay, so that's on thoughts on this. Martínez, Chilwell, Cresswell, Justin, Zuma, Jota, Salah, Son, Vardy, Che Adams, Kane, bench, Martin, random goalie, Kilman, Stevens, and Grealish. I think that's a good team, but already I would say definitely get rid of Stevens, because if this was last season, I'd definitely say, you know what, a Sheffield defender is very good, but this season they're awful. They've only got 1 point. They're struggling defensively. They're struggling to get goals. So Stevens, who normally is decent, going forward, yeah, you can definitely make money there, unless you're talking about the midfielder. Let me see. Oh no, yeah, you're talking about the Burnley defender. Okay, yeah, because midfielder. Because if you had Stevens from Sheffield, I mean, I'd say definitely get rid of him. To be honest, that's a good team, and you should be fine for this week. But if you're asking for advice for future game weeks, just keep an eye on Justin. He could lose his spot to Pereira. and Leicester are just so iffy. You could use this as an opportunity to change Martínez if you're not really, confident in Aston Villa. And apart from that, your midfield, I really like it. It's a really good midfield. I think your midfield's very good. Your attack as well. You do have a lot of money in there. And I think after this fixture against Sheffield, I would get rid of Vardy, but that's just my opinion. And for Che Adams, you could get Wilson or Bamford. Apart from that, I really like that team. Since the Newcastle-Aston Villa match has been postponed, my squad is Grealish. The question is whether someone will get points from the bench or will be rested for the Newcastle-Aston Villa. To be honest, I would just start him, just in case he gets moved to Game Week 11, but in my opinion, if you're asking me, I don't think he's going to be getting a Game Week 11 fixture. It's very, very unlikely. And if you have squad depth, then it comes into play. And you might not get the points you want. You might not get, returns per se. But as long as you get a few points on the board just for playing, it's better than nothing. And also, just think about it. Even if you get someone like KDB in on a hit or on a -8, -4, you have to rely on him getting a lot of points for you to make up and make a profit. That's why I think having good squad depth is always important. And I wouldn't be too concerned anyway. Remember, Grealish is going to have a double game week soon, probably 2 double game weeks. So don't be too worried about that. So what are the plans? Well, to be honest, Roberto, like I said, I think my plan is to do absolutely nothing. And this season, every single time I have, kept things, or should I say, always made a change and taken a few hits along the way. I think I've taken -16 or -20 in terms of hits. But you know what? This time I might just roll the transfer. Then I have 2 free transfers going into next week. And then I could, be a bit more flexible, because if I'm looking at my team at the moment, I really like it. But having no KDB is a bit worrying. Every time I see City score, I fear the worst with KDB. And also, getting rid of one Spurs attacker is probably the right decision. Who should I get rid of? I'm not sure. But the rest of my team, very happy with. Kilman, though, if he does lose a spot, I am, thinking of upgrading him to a 4.5 million defender. So those are the thoughts I have at the moment. Because apart from maybe the keeper, who I could get rid of now, literally it's just some players that I want in, like KDB or Jota. And as for Spurs attack, I think having 2 is probably too much at the moment. But we'll have to wait and see. Townsend, Armstrong, Walcott, Rafinha. Which one is a good option? If you could afford him, I'd say Ward-Prowse. But I don't tend to like these options at 6 million. But from those that you mentioned, I'd probably say Rafinha if he continues to start. But I'm not too keen on any of them, if I'm being honest. I'm not getting rid of any Aston Villa players. They're going to be in my squad. But will you suggest keeping them in the starting 11 for this week? Yeah, you might as well, because if they play, then obviously you're going to get the points. And if you just have them on the bench, then you're going to literally, and they play, you're just going to be kicking yourself. But basically there's no risk of starting them and then just letting fate take its toll. But if you have them on the bench and they play, you're going to be regretting it. So just start them and maybe just focus on squad depth. If you don't have good squad depth, try to get some in, but it's very hard with all the money that we have wrapped around these players. If free hit is only 1 week, so should I keep all 4 sub players 3.9 and all the other costly players in starting 11, right? With free hit, that is true. You don't want to have a lot of money on the bench, really. You could have maybe one decent bench option, but really you want all the money to go into your starting lineup. So that's a good point. You could literally just go with 3.9 million or £4 million players. Just focus on your starting 11. So that is a good point. -4 for Mendy, Manchester City. To be honest, I would say no, but it's up to you. I mean, Mendy looked very good the other day against Burnley, but I wouldn't take hits. Not for a City defender, definitely not. And you know how Pep Roulette is. Maybe he will surprise all of us and play Cancelo when people get rid of him, and then people will be hating Pep yet again. But if you want to take a hit for him, then it's up to you. I wouldn't personally. But Benjamin Mendy, he can be very explosive, as he proved basically when he came into the Premier League. It's better to keep them in the starting 11 just in case there is a match. You get the points, and if not, subs comes in anyway. Exactly, at all. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I mean, I will admit I had them on the bench already, but to be honest, thinking about it now, why have them on the bench just in case? But if you're asking me, I don't think they're going to be playing. They're not going to have a Game Week 11 fixture. Any Mitchell, Ferguson update or Brewster? Or so do I play them instead of Watkins and Grealish as I need to bench them? I think Brewster will play, but I don't know. He just gets rotated too much. And yeah, Sheffield anyway. I just don't like any of their assets. I can't think of one that's good. As opposed to last season, you had Lundstrom and Henderson. And as for your other players, yeah, Ferguson's not going to play over the likes of Nathaniel Klein. And Mitchell now, I think that injury kind of ruined him because, yeah, Patrick Van Aanholt has got that left back spot nailed. And before they were kind of coexisting in the same team. Van Aanholt was playing a bit further forward, but I'm not too sure on any of them. You probably need to look at, beefing up your defensive options, even if they're your fourth or fifth choice. You want to have players who play, and if something like this happens, they come in and slot in. But then again, I mean, you look at my team. If Grealish, Wilson, and Martínez don't play, I'm going to have no keeper, so I've got 10 players there. And Grealish will be coming off. And Wilson will be coming off probably for Kufal and Basuma. Not the greatest replacements. I like Kufal, but Basuma and Kilman not looking great, especially with Kilman's fixture. It's looking pretty awful. So that's how I look at it. Cancelo situation, I do have Bellerin to cover up on him, though should I transfer him out? I see the appeal of Bellerin, but I wouldn't go near an Arsenal defender. And as for Cancelo, I think he's too much of a rotation risk. So even if he does play this week, is he going to play the next week? So I think Cancelo is just someone you don't want to have. If you really want a City defender, I would say get Ruben Diaz. Decent price. His ceiling is low, but he's going to be playing most games pretty much. And as for Bellerin, just Arsenal are too inconsistent. I would not go near any of their players. But you never know. Already have Chilwell, Diaz. Who should I replace Cancelo with? 1 million in the bank. Don't have a playing defender on the bench. You got 1 million in the bank. That looks pretty good though. Chilwell and Diaz, you're kind of set there. To be honest, you could either go for a double Chelsea defence with Zuma or Reece James, or, you know what, I would suggest the following teams to target. I know West Ham have a poor fixture this week, but overall, I would maybe get Kufal, Creswell, or Masuaku. So one of them, and if not, one of the Southampton defenders like Kyle Walker-Peters or Vestergaard. If Bednarek you could go for as well. I know a lot of people are getting him in after his goal. But I think having one Southampton defender or a West Ham defender could be your best bet there. And you already have a lot of money invested with Chilwell and Diaz. So yeah. What do you think about captaining Mahrez this week? He is a nice differential, but Mahrez is so inconsistent. If you look at the source of his points, pretty much most of them have come in 2 games. The one against Leicester and obviously the one against Burnley. He's very explosive, so if you get it right, then you're looking at a fantastic score. But yeah, I wouldn't go for him personally. My captaincy kind of method this season is just going with the likes of Salah, Bruno, and Kane. These big hitters, and yeah, just going with them, going for the consistency and the reliability. But yeah, it could work out very well for you. I would get rid of Kane for this week and get Antonio. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not going to do that. Definitely not getting an Antonio for Kane. But Kane is someone I've considered getting rid of. Like I said, I want to get rid of one of the Spurs attackers. And who? That's the $1 million question. I'm not sure who at the moment. And I want to give it time. For this game week against Arsenal, I think Kane is the more likely to do well. You look at his record against Arsenal. He's on penalties as well. I think he could be on a big score this week. Hopefully not. But yeah, I'm just going to keep him for now. That's how I see it. I want to get a Leeds defender in soon ahead of their relatively good fixture run to fund a move for Bruno in the coming weeks. I'm currently pointed towards Dallas, but Eiling is the better option. I don't think there's necessarily a better option, and the thing I like about Dallas is that he plays in midfield a lot of the time, so I would actually prefer Dallas, but they both go forward so much, and Eiling sometimes plays as a forward and sometimes plays as a wing back, but he sometimes plays at centre back. So yeah, you can't go wrong with either of them. I would prefer Dallas, but yeah, one Leeds defender is a good choice. That's something I've considered with Kilman. You know how I've talked about upgrading him to a 4.5 million defender. One of those two that you mentioned could be in there for him because I've already got West Ham and Southampton cover, and I'm not really interested in any other teams. I know there's Lamptey, but he is 4.8 million, so yeah, I'm not too sure about him. But I think they're both good choices. I enjoy seeing Pereira play, and I have him in FPL. I want to know your thoughts on him. I've said he's a very good player from the beginning of the season, and people were saying, who is he? Because people don't watch the Championship, and I'm just saying, whenever I did watch West Brom, he was quality. But then again, he's playing for West Brom, so I would try to upgrade him, if possible, to someone like Jota, if you don't have him already. these teams, as much as Pereira is a quality player, I just don't expect him to get points. So, yeah, he's a great player to watch, but for FPL, I would get rid. But against Sheffield, he created the most chances in a game of any Premier League player. That is insane, and it shows his qualities, but he's not going to always get the points you want. I have KDB, Fernandes and Vardy in my starting 11, assuming Fernandes is the best captain shout of those. To be fair, they're all great captaincy shouts, and arguably Fernandes is the worst of those three. But I think Fernandes' reliability, and I always talk about it, the most points since he's come to the Premier League, the second most goals, the most assists, never blanked away from home. That's why I'm captaining him. But if I had KDB and Vardy, I would be very, very, torn and conflicted. I wouldn't know what to do. So to be honest, you can captain any of them and they'll probably do a great job for you. But yeah, Fernandes is probably the most reliable and the most consistent of the three. But yeah, the other two arguably more explosive. That's what I would say. Which game week is Ings returning? Well, apparently he could return this game week. Ralph Hasenhüttl said that game week 11 against Brighton is when he could come back. And that's why, let me show you now, actually. Let's go back to the transfers. This is something I could do, but there's one big caveat to this if I were to do it. So what I could do, and I would have, I would be even more confident in who in my starting 11, basically. I could do this. Ings in for Kane and Jota in for Basuma. I mean, Jota in for Basuma is a huge upgrade. But what would be the problem with this, apart from taking the -4? So after this game week, I mean, who would I bench? And even in this game week, I mean, I would just be... Obviously, I'd bench Wilson or Grealish, obviously, because they're probably not going to play. But having 8 attackers, I know a lot of people go with this kind of method. I don't see it. I really don't. But yeah, that looks really good on paper. I wish, in an ideal world, I'd play 2 defenders, 5 midfielders and 3 attackers, but you can't do that. But yeah, Danny Ings, I know he's marked at 50%, I believe. I think the chances are higher, but I think he might come from the bench rather than start the game. So for all of those who are taking hits or, desperate to get Ings back in, I would wait. But yeah, if he starts against Brighton, he could do an exceptional job. Is Son, Salah, KDB captain and Rodriguez a decent midfield with Ryan, Walker, Chilwell and Reguilon in defence? Brewster and Adams up front. Decent team? Yeah, I think it's a decent team, but as I always say, Rodriguez, he's the weak link in that. He could do well in this next game against Burnley, but overall, you'd want to get rid of him. And you could go to Jota, you could go to Grealish if you don't have him already, when he comes back, obviously. But yeah, that's the only weak link I would say. Ryan, I think there are better goalkeeping options, but I mean, he's not necessarily bad. Walker, Chilwell, Reguilon, that is a good defence. Spurs have been good recently. I tend to not really go for their defensive assets, but Reguilon could be someone to look at. Yeah, I think that's a good team. Brewster, though, up front, and Adams, not too sure. Adams is decent, but Brewster, nah. If he's starting for you every week, that's a big concern, in my opinion. Who do you think is the best budget bench midfielder? That's a good question. I mean, I've got Basuma, and I haven't really paid much attention because, they tend to just be on your bench, but... to be honest, in my opinion, I've always said it, I think Souček is the best one, but he'd be, either your 4th or 5th midfielder. The problem with him is, how would you know when he will get points? Sometimes he will have a lot of chances and he won't get the points. And he might have a great fixture and in the end he gets nothing. So, yeah, Thomas Souček, I would say, is the best one. For 4.5 million, to be honest, I mean, probably Oriol Romero, he's got the most points. I mean, I've got Basuma. At one point, he was the highest scoring 4.5 million midfielder. But really, you don't have many 2 options. Like in years gone by, you had the likes of Dendoncker, who was very good at 4.5 million. You don't have that anymore, unfortunately. So, yeah, there's not too much. I would say Souček, if you can afford him. I mean, he actually did go down in price. Apart from that, yeah, maybe Lookman, but there's no one else really. What is your total overall points? Let me show you. Let's go back to pick team. I've got 629 points. I am 113k in the world. I did move up around 50k after game week 10. And yeah, I got 63 points. And I did take a -4. So decent week. But yeah, looking to improve. And I've always been stuck around this rank this season. But I mean, it's a good rank to have. And last season I had a horrific start. It was absolutely horrible. And this season I've started much more, much better. It's actually the Stevens from Leeds. He's out on loan, so he never plays, but I have no money to bring anyone for him. him and Martin just sit on my bench. Fair enough. I know a lot of people do that. They get these cheap players, 3.9 million, 4 million, 4.5. I don't like that. I prefer having squad depth. So I think if you can, definitely try to address squad depth with the Christmas period coming up. And hopefully rotation isn't a big issue like it is in UCL Fantasy. But yeah, it definitely could happen. And especially with this season, I think, there's always this kind of exaggeration of rotation. And it ends up not being that bad. Well, this season, I think, could be the one where, you have to brace for some ridiculous, random substitutions like Mane the other day against Brighton. Kufal, Lindelof or Taylor for Mitchell/Kilman? I would say Kufal definitely, but Taylor, he's gone under the radar because Burnley have been pretty poor this season. He could still be alright. I wouldn't go with Lindelof. If there's any United defender I'd go for, it'd probably be Telles, but then again, yeah, I'm not too keen on them. I'd say Kufal's the best from those. Should I transfer Salah and Grealish for KDB and Jota this game week? You know what? Those look like good transfers. The only thing I would say is that you probably want Salah back for game week 12. And who does he play in game week 12? He does play Fulham, but Fulham aren't any whipping boys anymore. But you definitely want to have Salah back after that. And I don't know if you'd want to get rid of KDB for that. I know he has Man United, but we'll have to wait and see. Those are good transfers, but not too sure about Salah. And also Grealish, to be fair, you might want to have him back. He is the talisman for Villa. He is the best player by far. So yeah, but good transfers for this week, definitely. Keep Salah. Yeah, I agree with that. Calvert-Lewin, Vardy or KDB for captain? I wouldn't captain Calvert-Lewin this week, but you never know. I would just say whoever you're most confident in, go with them. But if you're asking me, I'd probably captain either Vardy or KDB. And if it had to be one, I'd probably go with Vardy, but I don't know. Both of them could just do absolute wonders for you. Thoughts on Rashford and Diaz? Worried they won't start this week. Yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said that he still has problems with his shoulder, but he did train. And he kind of, he likes to be vague. He said, we'll see if he travels with the squad. I do think he is going to start. And as for Ruben Diaz, I think he will play. Apart from that, I'm not sure. I switched Grealish for Mahrez, captain Mahrez. The only thing is, like I said with Mahrez, he's very hit and miss. He can get you, these 20 pointers, or he can get you these 1 or 2 pointers and be very, very wasteful. So good luck with that. And you probably want to have Grealish back, so you could also just do the reverse in maybe a game week's time or two. You never know. What do you think about bringing in Tammy Abraham next week for Calvert-Lewin when the Everton fixtures turn? I've been asked about Tammy Abraham in this stream before, and I personally don't rate him as an asset that much. I see why you would go for that, but I wouldn't do that. If you want to maybe get rid of Calvert-Lewin, you could always have Wilson if you don't have him already. And if not, Patrick Bamford, his fixtures turn at the same time that Calvert-Lewin's turn. And remember, look at this guy. He's got West Brom coming up soon, and hopefully that game doesn't get postponed. And he's got Fulham as well. He's got some great fixtures over the next 3 or 4. I'd say Wilson and Bamford would be your best bets. Maybe even Antonio, as a lot of people have been suggesting. I wouldn't go with Tammy Abraham, though. Do you have a plan to bring in City assets? Well, I do, but it's not one that I particularly like. So now looking at, let's go to make transfers again. Now this would be, probably the best way to get in Mr. KDB. Because I'm not interested in Sterling or anyone else like Ferran Torres, even Mahrez. I'm not interested. So what I could do is get Danny Ings here, get rid of both Spurs assets, which is very, very risky. I could do this week, to be honest, but not really feeling it. I could get Kevin De Bruyne in for Son and Ings in for Harry Kane, but very risky because do we even know if Danny Ings is going to start this week? Not sure. KDB for Son. Son is just so explosive. Whenever someone seems to transfer him out, he just absolutely tears it apart and people just kick themselves. I wouldn't be too confident about making these 2 moves, but the team does look nice after making them, and seeing those Spurs players is a wonderful sight. Dylan, do you have a league for FPL which we can join? Not at the moment. When I do, I will let you know, but I've literally got no leagues at the moment. I have Saiz, Castagna and Mitchell in my squad, and none of them are nailed on to start, so I'm looking for a good defender to replace any one of those 3. Who should be the first one to go? Probably Castagna, because he's the most expensive, although he is coming back to fitness. And Saiss is coming back as well. That's a good thing. But yeah, I'd definitely get rid of both of them first. Mitchell's the cheapest, so you don't have as much flexibility to make transfers. So yeah, I'd say Castagna first, then Saiss. And as for replacements, if you don't have Chua already, definitely get him in. And if you don't have the money to go to him, or you prefer someone else, you could go for Zuma or Reece James. And then, like I keep on saying, aim for a West Ham defender like Kufal or Masuaku or Creswell, and a Southampton defender like Kyle Walker-Peters or Vestergaard. And yeah, apart from that, I mean, I know some people still like Aston Villa assets. I'm not really feeling it. And like I said, in my case, so I would recommend it for you as well. You could get someone like Dallas in for the likes of Mitchell if you have enough money after making those changes. But yeah, apart from that, not too interested in anyone else. There is Diaz, but his ceiling is a bit low. And the only City player right now that I'm interested in is Kevin De Bruyne. I appreciate your advice, mate. I'm heading out now, but keep up the good work. Thank you, Connor, and all the best this game week. Martínez, Cancelo, Chilwell, Lamptey, Bruno, Salah, De Bruyne, Zaha, DCL, Bamford, Che Adams, bench, March, Bellerin, Mitchell. 2 free transfers. What to do? Let me see. Give me a second. So you have Martínez, who's probably not going to have a fixture this game week. Zaha's back, so that's a good thing. To be honest, yeah, when you have 2 free transfers, you always think, I have to make a transfer. I don't want to burn one up. But if you're happy with that team, you could always keep it. But I would get rid of Bellerin, in my opinion. I would get rid of him. You can get better value elsewhere. And also Cancelo. That's the thing. It looks really good on paper if he starts, but I don't think he will. So Cancelo or Bellerin, I would get rid of. You could get rid of both of them, to be fair. And I would either go with a Chelsea defender to couple up with that, or like I keep on saying, a Southampton or West Ham defender. It might not get you the points this week, but long term, I think they're great assets for the price that they are. So yeah, that's what I would say. Thank you, Karthik, for your kind comment. Thank you so much. 3 City assets ready to go. KDB, Torres, Walker. Damn, that's all out on City. To be honest, if I had to pick 3 City assets myself, it'd be KDB, Diaz, ideally Cancelo, but he's not going to play. So yeah, it'd just be them 2, I guess. Maybe Mahrez. I'm not really feeling at the moment though. But yeah, hopefully they do well for you. And I'm scared about KDB every time I watch City play. Sterling starts. He could, but I'm not sure because he's playing all these minutes in the Champions League, and in the league he's just being rotated. He's not really getting into the side. And he's not the only one. Laporte, who is arguably their best defender, not getting into the side as well. So yeah, it's really, really difficult. And with Man City, I always say this, the headaches that come with Pep Roulette are just too much. KDB is the only one who's guaranteed to start, so I think he's enough cover for the attack. So I would just, spare the pain and go with KDB. He will get rotated now and again, but not as much as Sterling, and definitely not as much as the likes of Mahrez, Ferran Torres, and all these people. With City having 5 first-choice centre-backs, is Diaz a rotation risk? Does that make Walker a better option? Yeah, but to be fair, Walker could also rotate with Cancelo, but I get your point. To be honest, though, with Diaz, he's kind of nailed on. Unless Pep starts to love Laporte again, then maybe he could get benched at times. But I think if anyone's the most nailed, it's either Walker or Diaz, like you say. I don't think Walker's particularly more nailed than Diaz, despite there being more centre-back options, because the other centre-back options, apart from Laporte, aren't particularly good, if we're being honest. As for Cancelo, I think he's decent, and this season, he deserves to keep on starting. But then again, Pep knows better. Obviously, he knows his team better. But yeah, it is a difficult one. The thing with Walker, though, if you really want him, look at his price is 6.2 million. I'm not really feeling that, to be honest. With what he gives back in terms of points, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I have a set plan to move my team towards McCarthy, Dallas, Target, Lamptey, KDB, Bruno, Son, Grealish, Salah, DCL, Bamford. Am I investing too much into the midfield? Not necessarily. I think that's a really good midfield, and you're kind of set there. The only thing is that your defence, I wouldn't say it's weak or poor. It is a good defence, but I would try to have a Chelsea defender in there at least. You literally have no Chelsea cover, and the likes of Chilwell, Zuma, Reece James, as I keep on banging on about, they're fantastic, and you can't get any better. Look at the points. Look at the top 3 defenders for points. It's Zuma, Chilwell, and James. Yeah, I would definitely try to get one of them in. But that is a good team, and it's not necessarily bad. But yeah, I would try to improve the defence. Rodriguez nowadays plays as a deep playmaker, and that's frustrated me. Game week 11 is the last chance for Rodriguez in FPL Thoughts. Yeah, I got rid of him ahead of game week 10, and I haven't looked back since. He was very unlucky, to be fair, to have that goal disallowed because, I don't even know if you could call that offside, but yeah, it got ruled out by VAR. still, even if he had scored that, I wouldn't regret getting rid of him because I think they're just better options. Like I said, at 7.5 million, around that kind of price, or 8 million, you can get the likes of Ziyech even. But I think what are even better is Zaha, Grealish, and of course Jota. So yeah, I would try to get rid of him for one of those three that I said. What's your rank in the world? 113k in the world, as I showed before, and yeah, pretty happy with that at the moment anyway. I have one free transfer. Would you do Cancelo to Reece James or Martinez to Meslier McCarthy? That's a good question. Magnuson, who do you have in your defence? Yeah, once you tell me that, I will give you a definitive answer. Because for this game week, Martinez to one of those that you said, I would prefer McCarthy. I would go for that for this game week. But long term, maybe if you already have Chilwell, you don't necessarily need Reece James as much. But yeah, Cancelo is a rotation risk like beyond this game week. Martinez is only missing this game week, so yeah, that is a tough one. Vardy or Bruno for captain? You can't go wrong with either, but maybe Vardy is the better captaincy option. Maybe his ceiling is a bit higher. He's facing a worse opponent, and also Vardy's record away from home this season is sensational. Let's take a look at that quickly, actually. But then again, I mean, I'm talking about away records. There's no one better than Bruno. But yeah. Let's look at Vardy's away record. So against West Brom, 13 points. Against City, 17. Oh my God. Against Arsenal, 7. And he came off the bench. Remember that? 14 against Leeds. And he only blanked against Liverpool. Yeah, which was surprising in itself. So yeah, I think Vardy. But with Bruno, I mean, this guy's just so consistent. And look, double-digit returns every single away game. It is up to you. You can't go wrong with either of them, to be honest. I have one free transfer. Who will I captain, Sterling or Fernandes this week? I'd say Fernandes. He's more nailed on. Sterling might not even play. And if he does, like, if he's on the bench and he comes on, you literally have like 1 or 2 points from your captaincy. That is not ideal. Then again, Sterling could start and he could completely rip. So just back your gut. But in my opinion, Fernandes is the safer pick. And safer sometimes is better. That's how I see it. Appreciate the suggestions. Keep it up. I've got to go now. Oh, yeah. Good luck, Dr. Swan. I remember you said you had like a history exam and stuff like that. Hopefully that went well. And thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Sanan, for your kind comment. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I think Laporte and Diaz are not each other's competition yet. Pep likes left-footed centre-backs play left and right-footed play right. Laporte and Ake are left centre-backs. And Diaz, Stones, Garcia, Fernandinho right centre-back. That's true. A bit like Arteta then. That's something he has picked up when he's joined Arsenal. So yeah, that's a good point. And to be honest, that's the thing though. Laporte isn't even getting into the side anyway, even ahead of those centre-backs that you mentioned. Fernandinho is a quality player, by the way, and he definitely deserves to get more minutes. But it's just really difficult to get into that City team sometimes. Castagna or Saiss, who would you suggest transferring out, considering both are coming back to fitness? But then again, neither are nailed on to start at the moment. Also, Wolves' fixture run is very worrying. Yeah, it is worrying, but then again, I mean, Wolves are a good team. They can get clean sheets against the best of them. But yeah, you look at those fixtures; they are awful. I'm not a fixtures person, but let's be real. Do you expect Wolves to keep a clean sheet in most of them? Probably Villa at home, if anything, and Burnley away. Maybe Tottenham at home or something like that. But in the others, I really don't expect any clean sheets until maybe game week 17. So yeah, you could get rid of Saiss first. But then again, with Castagna, I think you could get better value from someone else. So if you don't have Chilwell, at one point get Chilwell in for Castagna, and for Saiss, you could get a Chelsea defender, like I keep on saying, or Southampton, West Ham, etc. Maybe even Leeds if you're feeling it. I've made an early transfer and got Watkins in, and now I've tripled up on Aston Villa, and the only player playing on my bench is Kufal. What do I do? Yeah, that's the thing. When you make early transfers, you sometimes might have to take hits if you want to address the issues that arise from early transfers. To be honest, yeah, you could take a -4 and add in another playing or a player who plays obviously and have 10 instead of 9. But yeah, it's not an ideal situation. And if not, you could just leave it and you have triple Villa, and they have 2 double game weeks coming up, so it's not all doom and gloom. But for this game week, especially if you have your head-to-head leagues, yeah, it could be a bit worrying. I won't be surprised at all if DS doesn't start tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised even if KDB doesn't start. To be honest, yeah, Pep is just absolutely insane sometimes. Defense: Chilwell, Cancelo, Kufal, Lamptey, Lewis. Okay, and let me just scroll up to see what your question was. Where is your question? Yeah, I think you mentioned Cancelo. I'm pretty sure. Can't seem to find your question. I don't know. I don't know if it's coming up as retracted or whatever. But yeah, that looks like a pretty good defense, to be honest. You could actually make the keeper switch in that case. But yeah, let me just get back to it. Yeah, you've already got Chilwell, so I think, yeah, probably the better option is to either get rid of Cancelo, maybe a few weeks down the line. Yeah, and just make the switch now to McCarthy. But it's up to you. Both are good choices and both good, transfers to make. Dallas or Kufal for long term? That's a good question. I think Kufal. I trust West Ham a bit more defensively, but Dallas going forward is a threat. So yeah, it depends on what you like from your fullbacks or your defenders. I would go for Kufal though. -8 for De Bruyne, Mendy, Mahrez, and Jota in City Liverpool. Wow, that is a big hits. If you're going to stick with them for the long term, then that looks good. But if you're taking a -8 just for 1 or 2 game weeks, that is probably not a good idea. But hopefully it works out for you. Kane, Bruno, or Mahrez for armband? I would say Bruno. He's the most reliable of the three. But most explosive, probably Mahrez, to be fair, especially with the fixture coming up. But I'll go for Bruno. Vardy or Bruno captain, what do you think? No, I mean, fair enough. I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I would probably still be thinking about it. I'd be asking you lot who to captain if I had both. I'd probably say Vardy, but both have great away records. And Bruno has a great away record. He's never blanked. As for Vardy, he's probably a bit more explosive, but yeah, he's only blanked once this season away from home. So yeah, Vardy has the easier fixture. Bruno doesn't, but he's Bruno. So yeah, I'd say Vardy, but you know what? You could just go for Bruno. Son, Vardy, and Alderweireld for De Bruyne, Welbeck, and Jota. If I want to say, I like De Bruyne and Jota. I don't like Welbeck as an FPL asset, so I would not do that. Just a -4 if possible. But obviously, you need to change Vardy in order to get Kevin De Bruyne in. So in that case, I just go for someone else around 6 million, like Bamford, but not Welbeck. I have Cho already, but thanks for the advice. Yeah, no problem. Kane to Jesus for a hit, brave or stupid? Not necessarily either of them, I'd say. Maybe a bit more to the brave side. I wouldn't say stupid at all. I'm not sure. If you have no City cover, that's a great way into the team. But Aguero is back very soon. I don't know when. And when he's fit, he's going to be rotating with Jesus all the time. So to be honest, in my opinion, I would keep Kane. But yeah, definitely no wrong decision there. Which team do you support in the Premier League and which team in terms of FPL? I support Arsenal. Definitely not. I don't support them in FPL because I don't have any of their players, as you can see here. I only had Aubameyang, first 2 game weeks of the season, and he was right for me. But yeah, in terms of a team that I like in FPL this season, probably Chelsea, to be fair, with the double Chelsea defence. But yeah, and Everton, I did like them towards the beginning of the season. But yeah, they're just kind of falling away a bit now. But yeah, I don't really like a team in terms of FPL. Whoever gets me the most points, I guess. But yeah, it's hard to tell. It always changes. Are you keeping Martinez? I'm thinking of removing him, but I don't think it's worth a -4 hit. Yeah, for a -4, I would suggest not getting rid of him, if possible. I could literally get rid of him without taking a -4 hit. So that's why I have considered it. But as for Grealish and Wilson, I don't want to get rid of them, like I've already established. They've got great fixtures coming up. They've got double game weeks as well, which is obviously ideal. But as for Martinez, he's just not doing it. But I'm very limited in terms of who I can replace him with. Pretty much Meslier or McCarthy. I can't afford Fabianski. I can't afford Mendy. So to be honest, yeah, I might go with McCarthy in the end if I do make a goalkeeper transfer. And McCarthy, ever since I got rid of him, has outperformed Martinez by a big margin. So yeah, I could do that. But if not, I'm keeping things as they are. And I've got 2 double game weeks coming up for Martinez, and I'll try to enjoy them, if possible. Dylan Diaz says, how would you rate my team? Martinez, Walker, Peters, Chilwell, Robertson, Bruno, KDB, Salah, Grealish, DCL, Watkins, Bamford. I don't give ratings, as I always say, but I like the team. In terms of like who I would change, and it doesn't necessarily have to be changes now, but Watkins I don't like too much, especially you already have Grealish. I know Watkins is a bit appealing because he's going to have 2 double game weeks coming up or something like that. But yeah, Watkins is probably one of the weaknesses there. Potentially Martinez and Robertson, because Robertson's a class player. But if he's not getting you the points and he costs 7.1 million, 7.2 million, you could get better value elsewhere. You could even just get a double Chelsea defence and rock with that, to be fair. So yeah, I'd say Robertson, Martinez and Watkins are probably the ones I would look at replacing. But the rest of the team looks very, very good. planning on getting Jota in and make it 5 in midfield? Yeah, you could do that. So in that case, you could put Watkins to a 4.5 million attacker, and then you could use those funds to, get Jota in and make it 5 in midfield. That looks pretty good, but if not, there's always other ways around it. Robertson's another one. That will give you a lot of funds if you go to a West Ham defender, for example. You've already got Kyle Walker-Peters, so you don't need Southampton cover as much. And you've already got Chelsea, so yeah, you could go for someone like Kufal or Creswell or Masuaku for Robertson, and then use those funds to upgrade Watkins. Kane is very tempting, he loves Arsenal. I don't know if he loves Arsenal anymore. I mean, I'm pretty sure he got rejected by Arsenal, but he always seems to score in the North London derby, and I'm a bit worried about him in real life. And if you're asking me, I mean, would I rather him have points or Arsenal win? It's definitely Arsenal win, so I couldn't care if he blanked, to be honest. Do you think Jesus to Ings is a good move after the Fulham game? To be honest, yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go about it, because after the Fulham game, Aguero could be back, and that's when Jesus could be benched. And also, after this game week, you would expect Ings to be starting in game week 12, so that is probably the best way to go about it. That's a very good plan. Should I focus on getting good bench players in for the upcoming double game week of 11th of December, or do I think long term and bring in players like De Bruyne? I always prefer planning long term rather than short term, but I mean, there is no guarantee of a double game week as far as I know, unless there's news that's come out just now. But yeah, there's not necessarily like a set date for a double game week yet, and we'll have to wait and see. But I'd always say long term, and De Bruyne up until game week 22 is, he's got great fixtures, and he could get so many double-digit returns and be up there with the likes of Salah and Bruno. So yeah, I'd go with the likes of De Bruyne and think long term. I must say, staying in conversation with you on your videos and live streams and keeping regularly updated, I've boosted my rank to the top of all my mini leagues. So subscribe is definitely recommended. Thank you. To be honest, I mean, this is a platform for discussion and engaging with all of you. It's not necessarily that I give the best tips in the world or anything like that. At the end of the day, you lot are the ones making the decisions, and I'm just offering my opinion, and you offer your opinions on my team, and we help each other. But thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate Savage Mode. Thank you at all for joining once again, and I'll see you in the next stream. Italiano! Yeah, welcome Kinslayer yet again. I've had Zuma for some time now, and I'm really happy with how much his price has shot up. Do you think it will be smart to cash in on him and replace him with James, or do you still see a rotation risk? If, for example, you have 2 free transfers to make and you don't know what to do, then yeah, you could do that. And Reece James is probably a bit of a better option to get those bonus points. But overall, I mean, yeah, you could just keep Zuma. He is the highest scoring defender in the whole game. So yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I would say. But yeah, if you're really happy with your team and you don't know what to do, then you could make that switch. But yeah, all 3 of them, Reece James, Chilwell and Zuma, having at least one of them, I'd say. I mean, you definitely have to have one of them, in my opinion. So I have this plan next week to take out Calvert-Lewin for Welbeck and upgrade Creswell to Robertson, Trent to triple up on Liverpool, or get Wilson and James for Calvert and James. Okay, wait, I need to process that for a second, but I see that word and I don't like it, Welbeck. No, I'm not interested in Welbeck, in my opinion. So anything to do with Welbeck, I would not do, but it's just my opinion. Because at the end of the day, it's all about making these different picks and getting them right. But just Welbeck, he's not clinical. He's not going to get the points consistently. So from Brighton, if you really want someone from Brighton, it's Lamptey. I wouldn't go for anyone else. And yeah, for around 6 million, you can get Wilson, Bamford. Not Wilson this week, though. Obviously, he's got no fixture. But yeah, I wouldn't go with Welbeck. Hope you make it big in the YouTube game, but kind of don't as well, because we won't be getting all this personal attention. Then, thank you. Well, to be honest, I will still keep on trying to, respond to every single one of you. I mean, that's the most interesting part about FPL anyway. So, yeah. But thank you for your comment. So it was pretty funny. Predictions for this week's Premier League games. You know what? Let's do that. That's pretty fun. Okay, let's see how many I get spectacularly wrong. So, Burnley against Everton. I mean, I will just say this off the bat. I expect Everton to win, even though they have been a bit shaky. I would say 2-1 Everton. And yeah, a lot of people are going to be like, just hurry up. I want to talk about FPL, but okay. I'd say 2-1 Everton. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Man City, Fulham. I think Fulham could make it difficult for them, but yeah, 3-0 City, something like that. I'll go with that. And Man United, West Ham. This is one of the toughest games to predict. Really, really tough game. Last season was 2-0, like I said. And West Ham even got a draw at Old Trafford. To be honest, I'm actually really, really struggling with this one. I think it could be a draw, but I'm pretty sure I did go over Man United win before. But you know what? I'm unsure about that one. Chelsea Leeds. I think Chelsea will win. It could be like a 3-2 or something like that. But Chelsea's defense is pretty good. So, you know what? A 2-1 probably. West Brom Palace. If Zaha wasn't playing, I would say, you know what? West Brom could even snatch a 1-0 or something. But because Zaha's playing and he is such a good player for Palace, you know what? Let's go over Palace win. Maybe a 1-0. Sheffield against Leicester. 2-0 Leicester, I'd say. Spurs Arsenal. Let's just go with Arsenal win, but yeah, that's more hopeful than anything. Liverpool Wolves 2-1, and Brighton Southampton. You know what? Could be like a 3-1 Southampton. Yeah. So those are my quick predictions. West Ham United is the one I'm most unsure about. Hang on. If there are matches on the weekend of the 11th and a mid-game week of 15th of December, isn't that considered a double game week? Yeah, but I'm not sure if they've released anything about, confirmed fixtures. So let's see. I'm pretty sure both the fixtures haven't got a date yet. So, but you are right. If something happens during the midweek, so let's say, for example, this game, Villa against Newcastle, let's say it's moved to next week, midweek, it will be counted as game week 11. Or, if it's done in the week after, it will be a double game week with game week 12. So Villa will have Wolves away, and then they will have Newcastle at home. But I couldn't tell you when. I've just seen a lot of reliable sources say that there will be no double game weeks until, let's say, game week 19 or something, and that's looking at January, so a long time away. Enjoying the stream, bro. Been here since the start. Love Miles. So it's nice to listen to other people's teams. Yeah, it is, and you always get some good ideas, and also it's just interesting to talk about all these different captaincy options and transfer plans. I mean, I've never thought anyone would want Welbeck, but then again, they might be onto something. Calvert-Lewin and Kilman, I meant, for Wilson and James. To be honest, yeah, Wilson and James. Wait, so let me go back to your comment. I think it's a bit higher up. I just can't seem to find it. Okay, here. So I have this plan next week to take out Calvert for Welbeck and upgrade. Or get Wilson and James for Calvert and Kilman. Oh, Reece James. Yeah. I like those moves. Those are good moves. I would recommend them, but after this game week, because remember, Callum Wilson doesn't have a game. And then again, I wouldn't make this, kind of switch as soon as the deadline passes, because remember, it is tomorrow at 11 a.m. I would wait a bit, because what if Mr. Callum Wilson also doesn't have a game week 12 and West Brom gets moved? Not ideal, although you will have a double game week where you might captain Wilson or something like that. But yeah, I would wait. And see if Newcastle versus West Brom is confirmed. You could make these changes pretty much for game week 12 and after game week 11 deadline. Will Justin play after Ricardo Pereira is back? It depends if Leicester continue with this, back three. But if not, if they play, a back four and they attack more, then I think he will lose his spot, because remember, Soyuncu's coming back, although he's had problems as well when he played in the Europa League the other day. Pereira's back, Johnny Evans should be coming back, and there's still Fofana in centre-back, and obviously Castagna coming back. So it's really hard seeing Justin getting a spot in the team. And even in a back three, Rodgers could go with Fofana, Soyuncu, and Johnny Evans as the back three. So it's a tough one. I just think with Justin, and I got rid of him on a wild card because of this, persistent, Pereira's coming back soon. I just didn't want that headache. I got rid of it, but Justin's been alright. He's still been in the team. I just have to say, though, Leicester, they played three at the back against Fulham, and they just looked poor, and it was such a negative, lineup. And I think they'll play better with four at the back, and if that's the case, bye-bye to Justin. What's your actual squad value? Remove players on transfers. Okay. My squad value is 104.1, and I've got 0.1 in the bank, so 104.2. I had to check quickly to see I wasn't blind and I didn't, accidentally see a 3 or something. Yeah. So 104.2 million is my squad value. What are your thoughts on Neco Williams? To be honest, he could be good for the short term, but the likes of Matip coming back and stuff like that, I would avoid him personally. But I mean, you can't really go wrong for his price, in my opinion. Malpai and Grealish for Gabriel and Souček, -4 hit. To be fair, that could be good, especially Gabriel Jesus for Maupay. I don't rate Maupay at all, but Souček in for Grealish for a -4 hit when you probably want to get Grealish back in. I wouldn't go for it. I would prefer getting Jota in for Grealish if you don't have him already. And Jota could be someone you could have in your team for a long time. So yeah, I would say no. But yeah, Maupay to Gabriel Jesus looks very good, of course. I have DCL on Bamford. Is Che Adams the best striker that costs around 6 million to bring in for Vardy to fund KDB? I think for this game week, yeah, but after that, I would say Wilson is better if you have 6.5 million. If you don't, then yeah, Che Adams is probably the best around 6 million, if not Mikel Antonio. But yeah, if you can go a bit more, I would suggest Wilson, but not for this game week, of course. I have Diangana and Rodriguez in my squad worth keeping. I want to replace one of them, and I already have Jota. I'm skeptical about Ward-Prowse because I already have Che Adams. What do you suggest? Yeah, I would be a bit, reluctant to have double Southampton attack per se. So I get your thoughts on that. I don't know the rest of your team though. That's the thing. But Rodriguez, I would get rid of if you don't have Grealish. Obviously, looking beyond this game week, I would keep Rodriguez now. But for game week 12, bye-bye. I would get rid of him. And if you don't have Grealish already, get him in to replace Rodriguez. And if not, Zaha. Zaha could be pretty good. Although I'm pretty sure their fixtures do turn for the worse very, very soon. And as for Diangana, yeah, I wouldn't start him most of the time. And yeah, I would get rid of him also. But I'm not sure how much he is worth. However, if you check the upcoming fixtures, if you scroll down on your fantasy page and press the right arrows, it has concrete evidence of upcoming game weeks. Doesn't that mean they are confirmed? Let's check. So, if you check in the upcoming fixtures, if you scroll down on your fantasy page and press the right arrows, it has concrete evidence. I'm not sure about that, to be honest. Looking forward from now in terms of fixtures, who do you prefer, Target or Dallas? Considering that I don't have a Villa keeper, I have McCarthy, so I wouldn't want to be doubling up on Villa defenders. To be honest, I think Target has the better fixtures for the next, 4 or 5, and he's got double game weeks. Remember that. But long term, I would probably prefer Dallas because of his attacking output. So yeah, short term, I'd say. So when I say short term, I mean next 5 or so. I'd say Target, but beyond that, I think I'd prefer Dallas. But then again, if I didn't have Martínez, I would want maybe one Villa defender. But I'm not too sure. They're just so inconsistent, and I don't know when they're going to get the points. If I had Target, for example, I would probably have him on the bench when he played against Arsenal, and he got 9 points in that game. So he is a bit frustrating in that regard. So yeah, I'd say Dallas is probably a bit better. Thinking of getting Johnny Sins in for Robertson to then fund for Salah Evans. I meant Johnny Sins. Oh my god. To be fair, I wouldn't go near Johnny Evans personally. Leicester defenders, only Justin really, but yeah, how long does he have in the side? I'm not even too sure. But yeah, I would probably get rid of Robertson. But for the likes of Chelsea defenders, Southampton, West Ham defenders, I wouldn't go with Leicester in my opinion. For this game week, of course, Johnny Evans or whichever Leicester defender who starts could be very good, but beyond that, I'm not too sure. Robertson and Trent pictured in training, yeah. Klopp did say that Trent is back in training, and that's big news for Liverpool. And that's going to help the likes of Salah, Mane, Jota, Firmino, etc. So, yeah, it's great news for Liverpool, and big boost, definitely. And yeah, for the likes of Neco Williams, not too sure if he's going to keep on playing. Souček for Grealish is to fund Maupay to Gabriel for the -4 hit. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I like the Maupay to Gabriel Jesus move, but to take a -4 to go to Souček from Grealish, yeah, I wouldn't personally. Definitely not for me. Antonio's injured, by the way. Again, wow, Jesus Christ. This guy always gets injured, and that's another thing with assets that I don't like. The likes of Martial over the years, they kind of put me off. The injury record is not ideal. So yeah, I'm really happy with my front three, but unfortunately, Callum Wilson doesn't have a game. Calvert-Lewin's fixtures turn for the worse very, very soon, and he's got no Digne to supply him. So very worried about this guy. And then with Harry Kane, I mean, I don't want to have double Spurs attack forever, to be fair, but then again, maybe it is worth it. The fixtures do turn soon, but we're looking at pretty much the end of the year until Spurs' fixtures turn for the better, but we'll have to wait and see. FPL or UCL Fantasy? That's a good question. I mean, what I like about UCL Fantasy is the ball recovery system. That's a really good thing about it. And yeah, I like the limitless chip. That's a really good idea. But obviously, if FPL do it, it is copying, obviously. But yeah, I like those sort of aspects of UCL fantasy, but FPL, I think it requires more consistency, and yeah, maybe it's a bit more interesting. There's more teams. The Premier League is more unpredictable than the Champions League, and in Champions League there's too much rotation, and yeah, this season especially it's been awful. So I would go with FPL, but UCL fantasy has some things that FPL should learn from. Also, the different captaincies that you can do. It's a bit more lenient. With FPL, you have to get your captaincy right, otherwise, yeah, you're going to be kicking yourself, basically. I find Champions League more enjoyable. I mean, yeah, I see why you do. Last season, I was enjoying UCL Fantasy more, and I was doing very well in it. This season is a different story. I'm doing pretty badly, so maybe if I was doing better, I'd say UCL Fantasy, but yeah, I'd go with FPL. Do you think it's best to bring in Jota now or wait for the next game week? It depends for who, but yeah. I mean, there is this thing about players playing against their old clubs, and they're so hungry to score. So maybe Jota against Wolves could be a great option, but it's mainly that Fulham fixture away from home where you really want to get Jota in. So yeah, I'd say next week is probably the best bet. But don't be surprised if he gets a double-digit haul against Wolves now. Is Kane out? No, he's not out. And Mourinho said, and just think about it, Mourinho always plays mind games. In my opinion, he was never even injured. This knock that he got, it's BS. Mourinho always does this. He did it with Son early in the season, before the Man United game. And yeah, Son ended up playing. He was fine. Didn't look like he had any injury or knock. So yeah, he's fine. And Mourinho came out yesterday and said, he's fit. He should be ready for the Arsenal game. So yeah. What would be your ideal midfield as of right now? Would Jota be essential? I mean, my ideal midfield, I'll show you now. Obviously, you know what? It would be Grealish still, but the fact that he has no fixture, obviously I might get rid of him for this, little ideal 5. So let's get rid of Basuma. If I'm being honest, yeah, you know what? It would be the exact same 4 that I have, but either KDB or Jota. But like I keep on saying, if I wanted this midfield 5, which is very, very expensive, as you can see, unfortunately, I'd have to downgrade Kane, and even then, it's not enough. I'd have 3.6 million. So, yeah, you know what? Probably best to do this instead then. Let's go Jota, and let's go for KDB. I mean, unfortunately, you can't have everyone you want. The ideal midfield is obviously ideal, but budget restrictions. I mean, look at that. I only have 5.9 million remaining. The likes of Bamford and stuff like that have all gone up in price. Yeah, so unfortunately, a bit of headaches there. I can't have everyone I want. I can't have KDB and Jota, although I'd want one of them. But yeah, that would be my ideal midfield. But what would I do with my striker? I'm not even sure, to be honest. Who could I get? No, there's no one good really for 5.9 million. Yeah, nah. So you know what? Forget it. Just forget it. That's how I see it. Yeah. To be honest, I think a midfield 4 is good enough anyway, but you can't have 3 playing strikers anyway and the 5 midfielders. You're going to basically be benching the wrong guy every single time, or most times, and that's really frustrating. So, yeah, you know what? If I had a midfield 5, let's bring in Brewster, even though I don't like Sheffield at all. And look, I got 10.8 million there. Wee. But, yeah. Kevin De Bruyne and Jota. But yeah, if I'm being honest, a lot of people keep asking me what is the best formation. It's between 3-5-2 and 3-4-3, but it's not necessarily the formation itself, it's the players you have. So that's something I would maybe look towards. But yeah, if I'm being honest, the midfield I have, let's reset this now, I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing I would say is that maybe Son could go to KDB, and what I could do is move Kane to Ings or someone like that, and Son goes directly to KDB. And if not, Jota. That's how I see it. Would you consider moving DCL after his fixtures turn for a 4.5 player and invest in midfield? That is an option, to be fair. That's a good point, but I want to wait and see. I want to give Calvert-Lewin a chance. He's only blanked twice this season, so I'm not really in a rush to get him out, per se. So, yeah, I want to wait and see. I have to say that the Digne injury is very concerning, because Digne so crucial from that left-hand side. The amount of cutbacks he does, So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that he is out, and it does affect Calvert-Lewin in a big way. So yeah, not an ideal situation, and some of the fixtures are awful. Although Arsenal at home isn't necessarily that hard, if we're being real, and I'm not biased there when I say that. So I will be looking. There is a possibility it does come out after the fixtures turn, but I want to wait and see how Leicester, Everton do in those fixtures, and how Calvert-Lewin does. But yeah, definitely I could downgrade him to a 4.5, or even just to a 6 million striker like Bamford, and that money can go into upgrading Basuma to Jota or Son to KDB. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of ways you can go about it. Is Sterling too risky captain as he's a rotation risk? Definitely. You said it yourself. He's a rotation risk. That makes him a big risk. So yeah, I think he could play, but could be from the bench. And I couldn't tell you for sure. With KDB, I'm pretty sure that he's going to start. With Sterling, there's just question marks all over that. And if he doesn't start this week, he could start next week. But yeah, it's just too many headaches there. I have Chilwell and James, but I also have Bamford. Not really sure what I want in this game. Yeah, thoughts on Matty Cash. Not really feeling Matty Cash. The only Villa defender I'd think of is Konsa or Target. And yeah, I mean, you probably would prefer a Chelsea clean sheet. But maybe Chilwell and James get attacking returns and Bamford scores and stuff like that, and they all get bonus points. But that is asking for a bit too much. Sell Cancelo to Dallas, 4.5 million defender, save 1 million to be able to upgrade Grealish to Mahrez, or just buy Reece James and forget about Mahrez. Yeah, I'd say buy Reece James and forget about Mahrez. That's what I would say, to be honest. So yeah, because you'd want to have Grealish back soon, especially with the double game weeks coming up. And Grealish for his price, who's better? I don't think anyone is, apart from maybe Jota if he continues to play. Opinions are very useful if managers hit the right balance, because with intuition and suggestions are between. I really fancied Gossens in Champions League Fantasy for Matchday 5, but after your live stream I got Romero and it paid off brilliantly. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you've got to be, you have to stick to your convictions and just, back who you think is going to do well, because a lot of people were telling me, why Romero when Gossens and Hateboer are so attacking, and I just saw how many ball recoveries he got, and I just thought, I just want Christian Romero. He was man of the match against Liverpool as well. And the goal was lucky, to be fair, as in, you wouldn't expect Christian Romero to score, and that boosted him massively. But even without that, he got a lot of points from the ball recoveries. So just back your gut, and you did the same thing, and you made the right decision ultimately. Unfortunately, Christian Romero got pretty much 1/3 of my points overall, I think. Him and Trubin literally carried my team. That was an absolute horror show. Sell Telles or Cancelo? I'd probably say Cancelo because Telles is more likely to start. But I don't like either of them, to be honest. I would like Cancelo if he started, but guess what? He doesn't. So yeah, I would say sell Cancelo first. Welcome, Syed. By when do you plan on using your triple captain? I've got no deadline. I've got no kind of plan yet. I'd probably do it during a double game week, but then again, double game weeks haven't been too kind for me. I did triple captain Mane last season in a double game week, and it ended in tears. So yeah, I'm going to have to wait and see. But most likely I'm going to stick to, these people I trust. Salah, Fernandes, maybe Kane. Yeah, those are probably the ones I'd triple captain. And I have to wait and see when. It could just be one fixture that is just really appealing. But apart from that, yeah, no, I'm not too sure. Is Vardy a good differential captain option? I don't think he's a differential captaincy option, to be honest. I think most people who have him are going to captain him. So if you're asking me in terms of who's going to be the most captained, it'd be Vardy, Bruno, maybe he's like top 3, 4. I think De Bruyne and Vardy will be the standouts this week for sure. So yeah, between those three, and KDB and Vardy are going to be captained by a lot of people. Doesn't necessarily, make it a better captaincy option if he's a differential or not. End of the day, you get the points, but yeah, you just have to hope that not many people own him and he does really well for you. Yeah, thank you, Nenad. Is a Chelsea double up too late now? I don't think so. I mean, they just faced Spurs, and I benched Zuma for that, by the way, and he had 5 points chilling on my bench. And just look at, the returns always come for Chelsea defenders, and I think if you were to double up on any Chelsea defense, it would be Chelsea. They have the best defense in terms of expected goals. They're conceding, the least in the league. They're getting so many clean sheets. Yeah, I don't think it's too late. I know the fixtures are tough, but they can still do it, definitely. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too put off by it, but yeah, obviously, ideally, you would have wanted to have them back from the Burnley game a few weeks back. But yeah, I don't think it's too late. In Champions League, almost half my team is not playing next week. What was your rank last season in FPL? I was 68k, and it was my first season, actually playing it consistently. So yeah, it was pretty decent. And the reason why, I'm pretty happy with that rank overall is because I started off, first maybe 5 to 10 game weeks at around 4 million because I took so many hits and I was literally just playing for banter. But I made a great comeback by obviously improving at the game, being more patient, and making better decisions overall. And also just more luck being on my side because at one point it seemed like anything I did just didn't go for me. As for UCL Fantasy, I had like 7-8 players rotated in the last game, and it will be even worse next week. So I'm not looking forward to that at all. No wildcard, no limitless. So yeah, not looking forward to that. And I just can't wait until the knockouts begin because yeah, the group stages are just done for me in my opinion. I would love to support this channel. You should set up a membership option. Thank you for that. I mean, at the moment, there's no plans to do that. But if there is, I'll let you know. But yeah, and this is all free. No need to pay or anything like that. Is there free subs or all 4 can be auto subs? Well, yeah. Basically, if your keeper doesn't play and all your free, you have free players in your starting lineup who don't play, yeah, they all get subbed. It's not necessarily has to be free subs like in real life. I'm pretty sure of that. But in my case, anyway, Forster's not going to play, so he's not coming on for Martínez. But Kufal, Basumo, and Kilman will. But yeah, they should all come on for you, auto-subbed. Grealish for Jota. Yeah, I think this is a good week to do that kind of move. But long term, especially if you have Salah already, I think getting Grealish back in is definitely a must. I can't stress it enough. Grealish is a great option, and every time I'm kind of doubting him, he gets a double-digit return, and yeah, you're not going to get better for this price, apart from maybe Jota. That's how I see it. I don't watch too many Chelsea games. What type of attacking threat do you think James has in respect to Chilwell? Is he clear better option than Zuma? Well, Zuma from set pieces is a tank, and he's scored 3 goals so far. So he's got that attacking threat. But with Reece James, you're not really getting, the goal threat, but you're getting so many crosses. I think he should have more assists. I think he's been very unlucky. When I owned him and I looked at, how he played closely, like even the West Brom game where he was, not great, he was putting in so many great crosses, and the likes of Abraham were just wasteful. So although he's no Chilwell, with Chilwell you'd expect more consistent attacking returns. Yeah, Reece James is literally second best probably in terms of that. And in the bonus point system, even if he doesn't get an assist or goal, he is literally right up there most of the time, getting the bonus points along with Chilwell. So yeah, either way, 2 of those 3 are fine, to be honest. I wouldn't go with all 3 at once. I think that's overkill, but 2 or 1 of them, yeah, definitely a good choice. Let's keep going through this before wrapping up. I was so annoyed at the Haaland news on Wednesday. Yeah, same. I mean, to be honest, I just gave up at that point because I changed the captaincy to Haaland. Yeah, and I mean, he didn't even play, and he can't really switch it back or anything. And, I thought Salah captaincy was bad with 4 points. I mean, it's better than, 0 points from your captain. It was literally, like I said, it's the worst week I've ever had on UCL Fantasy, and I don't want match day 6 to happen. I just want the knockouts to begin. Match day 6 is going to be full of rotation. I'm not even sure who's going to play, and quite frankly, I'm not too bothered at this point. I mean, it is what it is. Sorry, I just joined. I think this already has been asked, but what are the odds for Sterling not to play 2 league games in a row? That is a good point. I mean, since when has Sterling, missed 2 games in a row or not started 2 games in a row in the Premier League? I still think it could happen because Ferran Torres has scored recently in the last Premier League game. Mahrez is in great form. So yeah, Sterling could be benched yet again. Will it happen? I couldn't tell you for sure. Obviously, if I was Pep, I would start Sterling, but I don't know. He wants to get a reaction out of him. So that's why I'm sticking away from Sterling this season. KDB is the only City asset I'm looking to get from the attackers, if I'm being honest. Before captaining Fernandes, did you consider how solid West Ham defence is? I mean, West Ham's defence is solid, but that doesn't mean Bruno can't do anything. I mean, you look at Southampton's defence, they're pretty solid. They kept like 3 clean sheets on the bounce at home, and Fernandes came in and got a goal and an assist, and he didn't necessarily play that well. So yeah, and if you look at the likes of Fulham, they have better defensive stats than West Ham over the last 4. Obviously, West Ham are good. They're a good team this season, and I do have Kufal who's probably going to come in for me. But yeah, from this week, I'm not too confident in Salah against Wolves. He doesn't have a great record against Wolves, but he is at home. Then again, the Wolves are just they're so tough to predict. And then with Kane against Arsenal, it's a North London derby. I could ideally, well, not ideally, I could captain or vice captain him. But apart from that, not too many options. Obviously, most of them aren't playing. But yeah, Bruno's never blanked away from home. Got the most points since he's come in, the most goals or second most goals, the most assists. Yeah, I don't know. It's up to you. I just think fixtures are important, but form for me is crucial. And yeah, Fernandes has the form. Maybe not in the Champions League, but just a quality player. That's how I see it. And wow, YouTube suggesting to take a break. Thank you for that. Let's keep going. Chua is the kind of fullback that likes to play a 1-2 with someone and cut inside. James is a more typical fullback that bombs up and down the pitch and whipping in crosses. Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it. To be honest, though, yeah, I don't know. It feels a case of who should I pick between both of them. Probably Chilwell. He's more reliable and still more nailed on. But Reece James is fantastic. And like I said, his deliveries are amazing. Like, only Trent from right back is probably better. But yeah, unfortunately, Azpilicueta can come in from time to time. Rotation could be a part of it. And yeah, there is Zuma as well that you could just go for. And yeah, but both great options. I don't know why Haaland's update wasn't out anywhere. I literally didn't find out about his injury. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I posted an update as soon as it happened. And even in the live stream, I said, the manager said that Meunier out. And he mentioned nothing about Haaland. There was absolutely nothing on Borussia Dortmund's page and also in the press conference. But Haaland just got an injury and he's out for the rest of the year, by the way. So not great news there. He has to be transferred out. And it's a transfer I never want to make, to be honest. So yeah, we're wrapping up now. I'll be answering the last few questions before concluding this live stream. Thank you to everyone who's been liking the video and engaging in the discussion as always. And more live streams to come in the future. More videos, of course. This is a great question. If you had Bruno and KDB, who would you captain this game week? Probably KDB, but Bruno is still more reliable, I think, because if you look at, who's got the better form, I still think Bruno does. And he's just so consistent in terms of goal output. And KDB, you're mainly relying on assists, and he might create a lot of chances, but if people are wasteful and don't take the opportunities created by him, then you could be left very frustrated. But KDB does have the better fixture for sure. I would probably go for him, but yeah, both fantastic options. I do have KDB, and I'm thinking about doing Sterling to Salah. Yeah, maybe not this week, but yeah, I would get in Salah for Sterling. I think it's a big upgrade, and Salah's just way more consistent and is nailed on pretty much. Is Meunier back? I mean, I'm not sure, and to be honest, this is what I mean. Like, I'd want him back, but I just got rid of him, and I've got other fires to put out, so I'm just not in an ideal situation. I will let you know if he is back when I do my Champions League preview later on this weekend or on Monday. I will be looking at all the updates of these players because, quite frankly, I mean, if I could take a minus 20, 40 hit, obviously without taking the hits, I would, but I don't want to take further hits, and I've had a poor start to the season. And game week 5 and 6 are looking to be the stuff of nightmares, to be honest. I just subscribed, all love, mate. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you for your comments and for your discussions. He does not have the red flag on UCL. Yeah, but UCL Fantasy is so slow to update the game. I don't think Haaland's even marked, even though he just missed the last game. So I haven't been on the app anyway, but they're just so slow to respond or to update the game. You'll probably get the latest updates after this weekend. So I wouldn't pay too much attention. Always research, because someone might be, saying likely to start or something like that, and then in the end they don't start and he's actually injured, but the game won't notify you. So yeah, FPL is definitely better in that regard, where as soon as a manager says something, within the day they kind of already flag them or whatever. So yeah. Hey Dylan, team is currently Taylor, Chilwell, Lamptey, Justin, Cancelo, Bruno, Grealish, Son, Klitsch, Mendy, Kane, DCL, Wilson. Thinking of doing Klitsch to Jota. What do you think is the best move? I think that's a great move. But obviously, you have some players who are obviously going to miss out, like Wilson and Grealish, unfortunately. As for Cancelo, though, he's not going to play, I think. If he does start some games, he's not going to start others. So, yeah, I think Klitsch to Jota is a great move, and then I'd be looking to get Cancelo out and get a better player in. What's your age, mate? I'm 21. I'm 21 years old, Dylan. Good to see another Dylan in there. Why do I see only 30 likes on the video when 43 are watching right now, and there are probably quite a few more minutes back? Thank you, Aranya, but to be fair, I mean, it happens with every video. Most people who watch don't like it. or as in, yeah, they don't click the like button, but it is what it is. Like, you know, you can't expect everyone to like it. Will Newcastle play next game week? I don't think so, Christopher, but you know what? You never know. Hopefully, it does, you know, get confirmed for game week 12 or something, but like I keep on saying, most of the experts and, you know, the kind of, you know, the people who do all the paper, whatever, the spreadsheets, they all say that game week 19 onwards is probably when the double game weeks start to come into play. But at the moment, not too sure, to be fair. 21 as well, another 21-year-old Dylan. Huh? That's very good. Are you doing a deadline stream for UCL? Was it over for you in the group stage? Yeah, I may do, but if I'm being honest, I mean, UCL Fantasy, I mean, if I do a live stream, I'll literally be trying to answer questions that I have no answer to, and no one will know because everyone's being rotated. So to be honest, I will definitely be doing the preview, but as for the deadline stream, I will let you guys know if I do, but yeah, game week 6, I mean, it's looking like a myth at the moment. Hopefully it's not too bad. Thanks for the stream, mate. You really should set up a way to be able to support the channel. I, as well as a lot of people, I'm sure, would love to support such a great channel. Keep it up. Thank you so much, and I'll definitely look into it. But like I said, you know what, like memberships and stuff like that is good, but you know, no need to pay or whatever. You know, everything's free, and the discussion is also like, it benefits me as well, and you know, it generates ideas and helps us all. So yeah, but thank you very much. Ario, I joined late, it's fine. Don't worry, mate. You can always rewatch. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them now because I will be wrapping up very soon. And it's already been an hour and a half. Time flies. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But yeah. Need to free hit any ideas? I mean, what is your current team right now? Because you could be like me where you still have a decent team, you could say, without using a free hit. And you could use that for a major blank game week or a double game week or something like that. I always try to use, you know, the chips as part of a chip strategy and use them in succession and kind of, you know, build a little domino effect and maximize the points. But yeah, it is up to you. My free hit last season, I'm pretty sure was successful. If not, it was my bench boost. One of them, I got 127 points. It was the best game week I've ever had in any fantasy game. But yeah, I wish I could get more of those, unfortunately. Yeah. Do you think Salah will do well against Wolves? I think he can, but I'm not sure. That's why I don't have him captain. He doesn't have a great record against Wolves. Wolves are a tough team. And Salah, he's not back to his best yet, but I do think the goals will come, but I'm not sure if it's going to be in this game. I think he'll get like 6-7 points. Oh, I couldn't tell you for sure though. We'll have to wait and see. I've been watching for weeks now, thinking I'm subscribed, but turns out it was just recommendation. Yeah, it's fine, Ahmed. Don't worry. Thank you for subscribing. It's fine. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel and liking the videos, commenting, and you know, everything in the live chat. It all helps the channel, and it all helps for more people to join in and for more discussion to be raised. Also, just yeah, more points to discuss, and yeah, there's always something that I might miss out on. I mean, for the last few weeks, I've not even talked about Jota too much, but he's someone you just can't ignore at this point. You really can't. With the form he's in, the only problem with him is rotation, a bit like Foden, although he's a bit more nailed. You got 127. Were you first ranked in the world that match day? No, I wasn't. I don't even think I was. I might have been in the hundreds, but this is what I mean. Some people get like 160, 70 points or something like that. 150 is crazy, but definitely my best game week, no matter what, even if I didn't have a great game week rank. But yeah, it was decent. Had 3 Aston Villa players, have Jimenez and Kane. How do I go through without free hits? Well, Kane is going to play. I'm 90% sure he's going to start, so don't worry about that. As for Jimenez, yeah, I see your problem. I mean, Jimenez and then 3 Villa players. The only kind of, you know, silver lining is that those Villa players you have will obviously have a double game week. But yeah, you know what? Fair enough. You could do a free hit. I'm not sure. If I was doing a free hit, I would honestly have no idea what to do. But one tip I will say, as I said before, is if you do a free hit, focus on the starting lineup. You don't want to have too much on your bench, because why spend money on your bench when they're not going to come on and get you the points anyway? You just want to have a strong starting lineup. So in terms of this week for a free hit, I'd probably go for McCarthy in goal. But yeah, not ideal. And I'd go for Chilwell or maybe Reece James. I want to definitely, you know, fit with the budget restraints. And also bear in mind, my team budget is going to be different to yours. I think mine's 104.2. I'm not sure what yours is. But yeah, let's get this done. So obviously Grealish, bye-bye. Wilson. I mean, maybe get rid of these lot. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I might keep Salah, by the way, but I'm just experimenting right now. Let's see. Jota could come in. Definitely get De Bruyne in for this game week. Or Mahrez if you're really feeling it. But yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, I'm a bit more, reliable. Who else could I get in defence? Fixtures. Yeah, definitely not Arsenal. Not Arsenal at all. This is a tough week to free hit, to be honest, because in terms of defence, I mean, who do you go for? There's so many options that, just obviously you can't go for now. I wouldn't go for a Man United defender. Yeah, I'll probably go for a City defender again. Ruben Diaz, if he does start, that would be good. Yeah. Now, in terms of strikers, I think this should be a bit easier. What the hell? Oh, because I'm on the second page, yeah. So I gotta say, Welbeck's not top of... Yeah, no, never. Okay, Vardy could be great. But then again, I mean, we're already looking at a very expensive team. And another striker could go for your boy Adams. Bamford, not for this game week, but you never know. Let's go for Che Adams. Let's see. And one more midfielder. To be fair, you might as well just get Basuma in again. Let me just restore him. And let's get Kevin De Bruyne in. And okay, so this is looking decent. 15.4 million left. Oh yeah, kill him, bye-bye. Get rid. Kufa, I'm not sure about him as well. Tough fixture. And I do back United to score, but you never know. Could you get Salah? A double Liverpool attack against Wolves is very, very risky. Oh, damn. This is tough. Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm definitely not free hitting now. I would be so confused. Mahrez. You could go for Mahrez, double City attack. And there you go. You got the 3 City players and defense. Oh my God. You're just so limited now because look, Arsenal got Spurs. Villa obviously, they don't have they don't have a fixture. West Ham don't have a good fixture. You could go for a double Southampton defense, I guess, but Brighton aren't pushover. Let's see, what about how much money would we have there? Oh my God, that's a lot of money. You could go for double Chelsea defense, but here's Leeds. And yeah, maybe Lamptey, but I'm not sure, man. Like, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure. Actually, to be fair, yeah, I will go for something like this, but maybe instead of Mahrez, you could go for Salah. It really is up to you ultimately. I think having one of Jota or Salah is good, but maybe both of them not so much. Double City attack is looking very good for this game week. One of them is, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but almost guaranteed to get you points. Vardy is one of the captaincy options of the week, along with Fernandes. But it really depends. I mean, with 6.1 million left, I mean, what do you do? If Cancelo played, he'd be fantastic, but unfortunately, I couldn't guarantee that for you. I don't think he will start. And yeah, look, Leeds as well. They got Chelsea. It's such a tough one. Yeah, so I would just go for Lamptey. You know what? Let's go for that. And you definitely should have enough for this. But if not, then that is a bit concerning. But having looked Che Adams against Lamptey already, Walker Peters and stuff like that, I'm just not too sure about that. But something like that I would free hit to. But very, very difficult. Okay, let's go through the last few comments before wrapping up. Let's go back. JC. If I can ask, how was your UCL match day? To sum it up, very poor, and I haven't even looked at how many points I have, but it's the worst game week I've ever had, definitely. Thanks for the answers, keep it up. Thank you, Christopher. I have to say, though, with the free hit, I was very confused because I just never plan on using the free hit for this game week. Is it worth taking -8 first time playing FPL? If they are long-term moves, it could be worth it, but I would suggest trying to limit hits to -4. -8 is the most I would recommend, if you could say that. Definitely don't take -12 hits or more. They completely destabilize your team, and you're going to need a lot of returns to make up those points. So, yeah, -8, it depends who you're getting rid of, who you're getting in. But, yeah, I would recommend trying to avoid it if possible. How is your budget 104? I mean, I don't know, but if I'm being serious, I mean, I don't know how my budget's 104.2. That's what it says on the app. But yeah, to be honest, Yeah, I've gotten a lot of players in before the price rise and stuff like that, so I have benefited from that. What is your total points? I started from Game Week 2, sadly, but currently on 564. Do you think top 100k is possible? Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of stories of people who were in the top million, maybe not even in the top million. They were 2-3 million, and then they shoot up the ranks. I mean, last season, it's not an inspirational story or something, but for me personally, I mean, I was in 4 million or something like that last season. I was taking hits left, right, and center. But I got my act together and I ended up finishing in the top 100k easily. So it definitely can happen. You just have to make good decisions. You have to be patient, and you have to catch these trends. So if the likes of Jota or Grealish, are doing really well, you want to get in on them as soon as possible. But also, you don't want to change your attack and your midfield too much. If you obviously can afford it and you don't have to take so many hits, you could literally be aggressive with the likes of Bruno Fernandes and get them in, especially when they have a good fixture. But yeah, just definitely don't give up. There's still a chance. There's definitely still a chance. No problem, Ario. But if you have any hesitations before I wrap up, then let me know, because maybe some of these players like Lamptey, maybe you could improve on. There could be someone that I'm forgetting. But off the top of my head, and to try to do it as quickly as possible, I think this is a decent team for a free hit. But it is a big reliance on City. And if you do go with this, hopefully they do the business for you. And yeah, my total points, to answer that question, I am on 629, so I'm 113k in the world, 113,000. I'll give you a suggestion about Champions League fantasy. I play the wild card on third match day and get the best players in, because match day 3 and 4 are reverse fixtures, so that can work wonders. I use the limitless then for match day 6. Yeah, I used the limitless on match day 2, and it worked well for me. And I used the wildcard in match day 3, but the problem with that was I didn't want to play my wildcard, but I had to because of rotation and injuries. But now with all the injuries and the rotation happening, I would want to have a wildcard, but it is what it is, and we'll have to wait and see. I finished 117th in the world last season in UCL Fantasy. That's really good. Yeah, that's a fantastic rank, to be fair. That move really gave my team a big boost in the beginning, and I had come to learn about it from another fantasy YouTube channel called FPL TV. Yeah, they're a great channel, and hopefully he does well as well in this season. I'm going for Vardy captain. What do you think about it? No KDB, by the way. I'm not sure if you have Bruno or Salah or those type of players, but Vardy is one of the standouts this week, and Sheffield are a poor team this season. So yeah, he's only blanked once away from home. And in all the other games, he's got double digits except for Arsenal, where he didn't start. So, you know what? I recommend that, and good luck. I wish you all the best there. Thanks for your videos, man. Love them. Keep up the great work. I had my worst UCL match day 2. 6 of my players didn't play. The saddest was Haaland. I mean, let me go over it quickly. I had Koundé, didn't start. I had... I'm forgetting now. I mean, I don't want to remember my team. Haaland got injured, obviously. Then I had Danilo, didn't play. Lodi didn't play. Pavard didn't play. So that's literally my entire back line. Then I look at my midfield. Ferran Torres and Jota. Wow, they actually played. Well done. And then who else is there? Who else did I have? My God, I can't even remember my team. And I don't want... Oh yeah, Lassina Traore didn't play. And I think there was 1 or 2 others. But yeah, it's just the stuff of nightmares. Literally half of my 15-man squad were benched. That is awful. And I had 7 points on the bench because of Mendy. But I couldn't obviously sub him on because Trubin got 8 points for me in goal. So... yeah, it's just absolute nightmare of a week, and I took a hit as well. So yeah, I don't really want to think about UCL Fantasy. Why not Dallas instead of Lamptey? I think Dallas has more attacking threat now. This was a free hit team for this week, and Leeds play Chelsea, and I don't expect Leeds to keep a clean sheet, but with Lamptey, he's got a better chance of a clean sheet, and he also plays as a right winger, in effect, for Brighton. So that's why. Yeah, in the long term, I probably prefer Dallas because of, the extra 0.3 million you can get from that. I mean, Lamptey is hard to attain if you already have a good defence, but yeah, that's why I have him. Oh, too many players selected from Southampton. Oh yeah, on a free hit. Oh yeah, just get rid of Forster and you solve that problem. Yeah, forget that. But yeah, what do you think of Neto since Jimenez is not in? He's a quality player, but I wouldn't go near any Wolves players personally. I mean, if you look at their fixture run, for example, it's awful, and yeah, I'm just not feeling any of the Wolves players, except for the defenders like Kilman if he continues to start. But yeah, the fixtures are awful. Attacking wise, they're not that good. So yeah, I'm not too sure about them. But Neto is a quality player, like I said. The people who used Limitless on match day 5 were heartbroken. Yeah, but to be fair, some of them got some good points considering how poor the average was. So they kind of, did damage limitation there. What about Pickford against Burnley? Yeah, to be fair, on a free hit, that's a good suggestion. But Everton haven't kept a clean sheet in 7 or 8 games now, I think. And before the last game where they still lost 1-0 to Leeds, they conceded 2 or more goals in 6 consecutive games, and Pickford is just so unreliable anyway. So I don't know. I don't trust Everton defence. They're literally bottom 4 or 5 in terms of expected goals conceded, and yeah, they just have such a poor defence overall. No Digne as well, no Seamus Coleman for now. So yeah, I would personally avoid it, but maybe this is the time they keep a clean sheet for once. But yeah, thank you to everyone who has joined in. And if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And if you have any more comments, any suggestions you want to make for my team, or anything, any discussion, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll be answering that. So after this live chat, or this live stream, should I say, is over, I will be responding to your comments. So if there's anything that I have missed out, just put them down in the comment section and I will respond to every single one of you. I really appreciate the support, and I'll read a few last comments and questions before wrapping this video up. But yeah, I have to say, really appreciate the support. Thank you to everyone. So yeah, thanks for the stream. Thank you, Caspiana, for joining. I really appreciate it. Same with everyone else who has been here. And yeah, hopefully Game Week 11 is good. I mean, FPL has been decent this season for me personally, but the beginning is just the beginning. There's still so many game weeks to go, and if you are having a bad season so far, you can definitely push on. You just have to start making some great decisions, have some luck on your side, and yeah, get the captaincies right. Captaincy is so important. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's been watching this video. Like I said, leave everything down in the comment section below if you have any further questions, and I may change Martínez in the end, but for now, I'm keeping things as they are, and I'm going to have 10 players in my starting 11, and hopefully the double game weeks for Aston Villa come soon. But yeah, I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you in the next live stream. If there's any feedback, any ways you want me to improve, let me know. I'm always willing to improve and to learn off you lot. But thank you very much. I'll see you next time.